Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Video Wednesday with me, Ellen Therese. I couldn't not with Ellen Therese. Today we're going into yet another conversation piece or question that someone had for me. So, Jessa Potter, you are the winner this week. And so today we are going to be discussing the steps and process of writing a song, my steps and process of writing a song, and breaking down the anatomy of a song. So what's really cool about this is that I actually had to Google what the anatomy of a song was because I was like, oh, I actually don't really know. Like, I know that there's a verse and a bridge and a pre-chorus and chorus and whatever, and that each song is different and whatever. But I did actually Google, like, what is the anatomy of a song? Because I was like, well, I want to make sure that I'm saying the right thing. So we're going to go into, like, the three different forms of songs that I found in this article called it's musical-u.com, and I will link it in the bottom. And you can go check out like all the stuff that they put in here, but I'm basically just going to sum up what they said. Then I'm also going to go into discussing my steps and process of writing a song. So step one. What is the anatomy of a song? So apparently, right, when you Google like the anatomy of a song, like what comes up is like the intro, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, the bridge, the outro. But what I found from this article is that there are actually three different forms, right? In this one especially, there are three different forms of songwriting. So there's number one, the verse chorus form. And so this has like three different sections. So the verse chorus form, right, is basically just a verse and then a chorus, a verse and then a chorus, a verse and then a chorus. It doesn't have a bridge, it doesn't have a pre-chorus, it doesn't have anything, right? But in this verse chorus form, you can have like a bridge, and bridging the gap is what they called it, or you can use a pre-chorus, right, before the bang is what they call it. And so the verse chorus form, what's really cool is basically your verse is your setup. That's most of the time in the beginning of any song. Your setup, your main idea of the song is going to be like your chorus, and your verses are going to build up into your chorus, and your chorus is normally going to be that like 100 level, and the verses are normally going to be at like the 0-25 level, right? So verse chorus form, the example that they gave was actually Avril Lavigne's Complicated. So the verse would be, chill out, what you yelling for? Lay back, it's all been done before. When you're talking to me one-on-one, and then the chorus of that song would be, tell me why do you have to go and make things so complicated? I see the way you're... that's like higher than the key, but you understand. So that's the verse and that's the chorus, and that song doesn't really have anything else in there, right? It's just going back to the verse, going back to the chorus, do 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 do, and then do 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 do. And so I think that's cool, right? Verse chorus form, right? It's still good. It's not like it's boring by any means, but it is just very specifically like 25 to 100%, 25 to 100. Then in this, there's bridging the gap, right? So it's basically putting a bridge in there. And so the example that they gave was I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. And so I really love that song. I just love Katy Perry in general for some unknown reason. She's great. I like her music. So the song I Kissed a Girl actually has a verse, a chorus, and it has a bridge. So the example, right? So it goes verse, chorus, and then bridge, and then chorus. Right? And so the bridge is basically going to be something that's completely different. It's going to have totally different words. It's going to have totally different, lyrics, words, and it's going to have a broader perspective, and it's just going to like add something else to the song, right? So Katy Perry, right? The verse, this was never the way I planned, not my intention. And then it keeps going, and then you get to your then you get to your chorus, like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Taste of her cherry chapstick, right? And then you go back into like the verse, right? So do 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 do, and then it's chorus. I kissed a girl and I liked it, right? And then it has a bridge, and so this song specifically, the bridge is like us. Us girls, we are so magical. Soft skin, red lips, so kissable. totally different, adds a whole new meaning, adds more empathy or like for the situation, whatever, adds more like clarity to like what's going on in the feeling. And then it goes boom, right back to the chorus. I kissed a girl and I liked it, right? Okay, then the third section in this verse chorus form is the pre-chorus, right? And they called it before the bang. So the pre-chorus is basically, it's different from the bridge in the way that the bridge is going to be like verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse. And then instead of going into the chorus again and doing something boring, you switch into the bridge and you do something totally different and then end it with something that you're familiar with again, right? The pre-chorus is sort of the opposite, right? Instead of going 0, 100, 0, 100, 50, 85-ish, 100, you're going 0 to 50 to 100. So the pre-chorus works more like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, because what you're doing is you're building up to the chorus. Your pre-chorus is going to be something similar to the verse, moving up into the chorus, and the chorus is that part where it's at 100, right? And so the pre-chorus is going to be like one more vocal part, one more guitar part, one more instrumental part is how they pointed it out. They use the example train, drive by train, but I'm not too familiar with it to be able to just like pull it out of my hat. So I looked into other ones that could work, and I found Katy Perry's Firework as one that has a pre-chorus, and it also actually has a bridge too. So it's got like all the works, right? So Firework by Katy Perry, right? The verse, do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind wanting to start again? And then pre-chorus, you just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. You see how it like goes up into it? It's a really good example. And then chorus, like, 'cause baby you're a firework, come on show 'em what you're worth. Right? So it's like the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It goes up 0, 0, 50, 100, 0, 50, 100, right? Goes up, and it makes you just feel it again. And then you start over again. It's like do 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 do. Does that make sense, right? And then later in the song, it's got the bridge, right? So boom, 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 even brighter than the moon, moon, moon. And so it goes into like a totally separate thing, you know what I mean? So I think it's so cool that like they can really break it down into like a pre-chorus, a bridge, a verse, a chorus, whatever. So that was form 1, verse, chorus, form, right? We've got bridges, we've got pre-choruses. Okay. Our second form is the refrain form. So the refrain form is basically just the verse chorus form compressed. So instead of going 0 to 100, what you're doing is you're going like 0 to 50, 0 to 50. So you're never like revving up all the way. You're just sort of like feeling this like, yeah, we're hearing a song, like we're going with the wave, but we don't have like that, like this is the chorus moment, right? And so a good example of that they used was Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. And so it's like, well, verse, well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Right? And then verse, well, goes like this, the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, and the major lift, the bow for king composing, hallelujah. Chorus, hallelujah, hallelujah. And then it does that over and over and over and over again. So the refrain form is basically it finishes with 1 or 2 identical lines. So the hallelujahs at the end that you repeat and repeat and repeat at the end of every single thing is the refrain. Very similar to like at church, like if you were singing a song and it had a refrain, something you would sing over on the last verse. Like it's the same thing as this, right? So like, well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. And then do you see how it doesn't like go up all the way? Like it doesn't have like a chorus, you know what I mean? Like you could technically call those 3 things the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus, but because it's just 2 lines and it's repeating the same thing and it's staying very much on the same level and playing field, it's the refrain form. So our third form and final form, at least in this article, there might be more out in the world, I'm not sure, find out more if you'd like to, is the ABBA form. So I don't know if it's called the ABBA form or if it's actually just the ABBA A form, but I like ABBA form, so it's the ABBA form. Basically, it's got contrast like the verse chorus form, but it's not like up and down big, right? Just like our refrain form. But the difference in the ABBA form is that it never really has a chorus. Does that make sense? Like, it never really has like a thing that like takes it back around. It's not verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's not 3 lines hallelujahs, 3 lines hallelujahs, 3 lines hallelujahs. It's Yesterday by the Beatles, right, is the example that they use. So it's basically like A section, like, yesterday all my troubles seem so far away. That was a little weird. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Still A. Suddenly I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. B. Why she had to go, I don't know, she wouldn't say. I said something wrong, now I long for yesterday. Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. You see what I mean? It doesn't go anywhere. It's just an A section and a B section. And so the thing that they said was very specific about this is that your A section is going to be more matter of fact, like the chorus in the verse chorus form, like this is what's happening and it's, whatever, matter of fact. B, your B section is going to be more like your bridge, okay? And it's going to be more expressive, adventurous, and it's going to take you somewhere before you get back to A. But it's not taking you far enough to be considered a chorus or a bridge. Does that make sense? So we've got our verse-chorus form, right? That includes our bridge, our pre-chorus, all that normal like 0 to 100, 0 to 50 to 100, 0 to 100 to 80 to 100, right? And then we've got our second one, the refrain forms. We've got like 3 and then repeating, and then 3 and then repeating, and then 3 and then repeating, sort of like a wave, not necessarily a big jump, right? 0 to 50, 0 to 50. And then we've got our ABBA form, the ABBA form, and that's our like A to B to A to B. And so I think it's really cool that songs can work like this, because it's like, what? And then obviously, like, something they say in every single part of that article is that, like, obviously songs are yours. Obviously you can do whichever version you'd like. You can put stuff wherever you want. It could be a refrain form with a bridge somewhere, blah, blah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just what you feel. But in these categories, it's sort of nice to sort of think about like how you would set up your next song, like, are you going to put a bridge in there? Or are you going to put a pre-chorus in there? Like, are you going to do both? Like Katy Perry, just go above and beyond. Okay. So the second part of our video today is discussing my steps and process of writing songs. So I was really thinking hard about like what it's like for me to write songs and like how to explain that, because I don't fully understand it yet. And basically what I realized is like I wanted to explain like what resonated with me when I started getting nervous about writing songs and putting them out into the world. And so there's this video, it's a TED Talk, and it's called Your Elusive Creative Genius, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she's actually the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And so what's really cool about this TED Talk is she talks about the idea that back in like the Greek days, back in the day, before the Renaissance era, let's put it that way, she said that they used to refer to people that were artists and stuff like that. Like, they would say that they had like a genius with them. They would say, you and your genius are so great. You and your genius are so amazing. You and your genius. Look at this thing you've created, right? And they had this idea that it was like a little fairy or a little elf or a little thing that like came and helped you with your creative things, so that when you went out into the world as an artist and you showed everyone everything, it helped with 2 things, right? And she explains this all very well. And that's how I'm doing it well, because she did such a good job. Is that literally 2 different things it protects you from. Like, one, when you bring out something that is amazing, then people are like, then you can't take full credit for it, right? You are not like a godlike creature. It is not something that you have created in this world. It is you and your genius. Like, oh, you and your amazing genius. Look at all of that stuff that you guys created together. And you can't take all the credit because inspiration comes from other places. And then vice versa, right? If you suck at art and you're coming up with stuff and it's like not selling or whatever, it's just like, well, you just don't have that good of a genius. That's okay. Like, your guy, it's not all your fault. Like, your fairy must just not be that creative, you know? And so it's like a really cool idea. And then in this video, she actually also represents the idea, or she talks about this lady's, this woman's idea of when she's writing down poetry and stuff like that. She said that she gets an inspiration sort of as a wave, right? And if she doesn't write it down and catch it in time, then it goes on to the next artist, as she says. And so it's really cool to think of that idea. Like, just imagine, like, here we are in this world and we're just like these little receptors for energy, right? And then, like, boom, like an idea comes through and it decides to like choose you as the person to like send that idea through. And then you take that and you're like, oh, I'm going to make that a thing. And you like write it down and then you continue to work on it and nurture it until it turns into something beautiful, right? And I think Rachel Platten said it best in this podcast I listened to. She said that the first part of writing a song is basically inspiration, right? It's that moment where like something comes down and it's not you, it's not from you, but you recognize it and you know it to be something that's real, but it's not real yet, you know, and you get that inspiration and it comes through you. And then the second part is you editing it and making it something that you want it to be, and filtering it to like how you're going to present it to the world. And so she said this really interesting idea where she was basically like, you're stuck in this weird battle with your inner creative innocent self and your self that wants to edit and wants it to be really amazing and great for everyone. So I think that's such a cool way to say it. And so basically that's the same way that I experience music. It is very much like I have like a general idea, like Thanks Mom. The example I'll use is Thanks Mom, that song that I wrote not too long ago. And so I literally wrote on my whiteboard, Thanks Mom, knowing that I wanted it to be MOM, my own mind, right? Thanks Mom. And I didn't know where it was going to go, but I remember like there was, you know, just one day where randomly like you just get a burst of thing and you're like, ooh, that would be a good thing to put in the song. And then it was like, boom, this would be a good thing to put in the song. And then when you start getting ideas for words and stuff like that and thinking of the idea more and more, what I do is actually just sit down with my guitar. I find a chord that I like, and then I start listening for like what I think it's supposed to sound like and what it feels like to me. And what was really interesting about Thanks Mom and that song in particular was that the guitar part for that song was actually like, it was so not mine that it was challenging for me to learn, even though I was the one writing it. Like, I legitimately I couldn't physically play the song that I was hearing in my head, you know, like it wasn't me. Like, that's what's insane is like if it was always from me, it would have been like the same four chords, which, you know, side note, some people have said I use all the time. I don't care. As I say, I don't care. That means I care, doesn't it? All right, we're going to side note. But yes, people say I use the same four chords. Anyway, no, but that's the proof that it comes from somewhere else. That's the proof that it comes like through me and for me and just for me to enjoy, you know? And something for me specifically is that music has always been a way for me to heal. Music has always been a way for me to connect. Music has always been a way for me to communicate how I'm feeling. And I very much so, like, if I am in a place where I need the answer to something, I will legitimately feel the feeling I'm feeling and look for music that feels exactly the same. And that's how I connect to music as well. Like, if I listen to a song, not only am I immediately listening to what you are saying to me, but I also am trying to feel what feeling is it that you're giving me. Like, what time did you write this in? What happened here? So that when I'm trying to repeat it back to you and communicate that feeling, I understand that, right? And I find a song for almost every single thing, you know, every single feeling, you know, and it's just like, it just cycles through and there's new things and more beautiful things and whatever. So Right now, my process and stuff to writing songs is that it's just inspiration and then going through the editing and then trusting myself and just literally waiting for the click, as my friend Josh says, like literally just waiting for the click. Like at some point, you get to like playing the song and you're playing it, and you're playing it, and you're playing it, and it seems okay, and then it's okay, and then you're changing words and things and whatever, and like as you tweak, right, as you tweak everything, suddenly somewhere in there it just sounds good. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that was it. And it's the coolest experience. So, I mean, yeah, there it is. So yeah, so that is the anatomy of a song and my steps and process of writing songs. I will be linking the article that I used. I will be linking the Elizabeth Gilbert TED Talk for you and your genius, right? Your elusive creative genius. And then yeah, that's it. Okay, follow me on Insta, social, whatever. I don't normally say this at the end, but I think I'm going to link it all here because it's just easier. So follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. I'm not going to link Facebook. No, don't do that. No, you know what? Maybe. Anyway, no. Okay, I'm going to edit this out maybe. No, we have to leave it raw. We're always going to leave it raw. Okay. Okay. Follow me on Instagram, please. I have 1 and 2 different accounts that you can follow. And then I'm going to put my link tree down there so it's got access to my Insta, Facebook, and my PayPal and stuff like that if you want to support me monetarily to continue doing these little videos. I like talking. Please continue to give me things to talk about. All right. Okay. So I love you guys. Thank you for anyone who has made it this far. Even if you haven't, thank you for even clicking on it. Yeah, thank you so much. So this was I Couldn't Not with Ellen Therese. Thank you.